Welcome back. In this episode, we are going to continue to work on this 86 Civic Si Survivor. This is not a restoration, this is a preservation of what's there. And what we're going to be working on in this episode is the interior. It was in pretty good shape, but there were a couple tears and damaged portions of the upholstery that I wanted to fix while maintaining most of the original fabric. Luckily, I have someone who can stitch, and someone who turned out to be pretty good at carving the foam because the bolster was pretty much completely collapsed. Alright, if you like old Civics, check out some of my other videos. I've got a 90 Si right here. The video will be here. This is the 86, so we're going to try to get this thing prepped because I'm going to be doing a comparison between both of these cars, and it's going to be pretty cool because it's rare to find some unmolested Civic SIs. And yeah, let's dive into it. This is going to be a fun episode. So while I'm waiting for parts for this thing, I'm going to work on the interior a bit. I have the driver's seat pulled out, and I searched all over the state to try to find parts for this car and hopefully find like a passenger seat in good shape that I could steal the seat foams out of, maybe even the seat cover. But there is nothing here in the Midwest. It is gone. Alright, I'm at Highway 18 Auto and Truck Salvage looking for Honda parts. Hey look, a non-running B5. No way. A lot of Jeeps. Holy crap. If you want a Jeep part, come here. This is crazy. Let's go this way. I think I saw some cool vans. Whoa. This thing is rad. Look at this paint job. Oh, it's got the windows up top. Sick. Nice. Astros. Looks like they got 3 of them. No high tops though. Hey look, it's a DMC, same as mine. Same graphics, I think. That's cool. Alright, extremely rotten Del Sol, and then back over here, looks like we have an EF hatch of some kind. Ah, inside. Oop, someone stole the aluminum drums. Those are a popular upgrade for EF chassis. Alright, so I struck out on those two, but I'm going to this last one. It definitely has an 85 Civic, so hopefully they got what I'm looking for. I'm going to see if they have some other things too. I remember this yard being a lot bigger than the other two, so yeah, excited. What I'm going to do now is try to pull the seat covers. You can see here there's a little bit of a tear here. I'm going to see if I can make a patch of similar vinyl that just is stitched right here. We're going to stitch this together where this is coming apart, and then I'm going to try to rebuild the foam right here on this bolster. Yeah, let's see if we can get the covers apart and this seat disassembled a bit to see if we can tackle this thing. Oh my god, okay, well that's why it wasn't coming off. A little bit of rust in there. Okay, that's gross. Looks like the foam's starting to deteriorate in here pretty bad. I'm gonna make a mess. You know what? I'm gonna do this outside. Alright, so similar to the bottom seat, there's some springs that help pull the fabric around the bolsters down into the seat. Alright, now you can kind of see how bad this bolster is compared to this one. So now that I have this thing taken apart, I'm going to try to rebuild this bolster. You can see that it's still here. I have searched everywhere for new foams. They're gone. They don't exist in my part of the world, so I've given up. So what I'm going to try and do is salvage this one. I think it's still fairly high. The shape is, I guess, a little different, but I think the biggest problem with it is that it collapses because there's this this void under here. So what I'm gonna try and do is stuff it full of new foam to try to make this stick out more and be more firm. Maybe there's a better way to do this, but this is what I'm doing, and it can't get worse. So let's see how this works. The other thing that I think it needs is, you can kind of see this shape is more triangular, and this one is kind of just rounded. This foam right here is a lot softer than this foam. This is a lot firmer. So what I'm gonna do is try to continue to taper this form until it goes from skinny to thick to skinny. And then I'm probably just gonna try to put it right about here and put this cover back on and see how it fills out that bolster. So I'm gonna throw this on the ground because I think it'll be easy to work on. All right, so the front seat, I actually dropped the base off at an upholstery guy. He's gonna be replacing that side torn area. That's ready to go. I gotta go pick it up. So what I wanna do is drop off another piece from this Civic, and that is the rear seat. Now, the upholstery is pretty good in this car, but it's not perfect. The issue I'm having with the rear seat is that everything looks pretty good, but this lower cover is coming apart on both edges. You kind of see the foam sticking out. So what I'm gonna have him do is serge in some new vinyl back here, because this original fabric just did not hold up. So I'm gonna try to pull the rear seat quick. Hopefully that's not too annoying. Look at that, no corrosion whatsoever. You still see that red paint. God, this car is nuts. So to get to the rear seat bolts, just down here. Look at that, the factory stapled on a little piece of Velcro into that plastic. That's so weird. I don't do that anymore. Again, incredibly clean car. I'll clean it up a little bit before I reinstall the seat, but just, wow, no rust anywhere. So I got my seat bottom back from the upholsterer. Looks great. This whole side's been replaced. Looks pretty much like the other side. Added this little tabby thing to it. So yeah, time to put this seat back together. Let's do it, boys. So, funny story, I've actually never done this stuff before with these hog rings. I bought these hog ring pliers and these hog rings when I was 16, when I was still at a Dodge Charger. And I was gonna redo the seats and I never did, and these just sat in the bottom of my spare toolbox ever since. So, yeah man, it's nice to finally get some use out of these things, let's say that. All right, look at that. Just gonna clean this up a little bit. Good as, well, not good as new, but I mean as good as it's gonna get, I guess. Looks a lot better than it did with that huge torn part right here. So yeah, seat bottom good to go. So it's been a few days, but I have been making some progress on this, just picking at it here and there. What I have done is I put a little piece of firm foam in there, and then I used some spray adhesive to put this firm foam, and I tried to copy that beveled angle of the other bolster. It's close, it's not going to be perfect, but this would still show up. So what I'm going to do now is wrap it with this much softer foam, and then that should hide all these transitions. So we're just gonna spray adhesive both sides here, let that dry up, and then slap it on there and put the cover back on. All right, that's a lot better. I mean, it now has a bolster, it's not sunken down. It looks like I need to add a little more, like kind of at a corner this way, not just this way. And then the other thing that sucks is this seam just opened up just from stretching this cover. So we have a split seam with an expert professional here fixing this.
No, I stitch up animals usually, not seats, but we'll see what you can do.
All right, so rebuilt the bolster, and now she is going to trim the foam and try to feather it into the existing foam. Alright, so I'm kind of pretty frustrated with the front seat right now. I'm trying to carve foam with a pair of scissors. It's not going very well. I know you're supposed to use an electric carving knife, and I don't know where mine is, so I think I'm going to get one before I go back to trying to reshape that bolster. Until then, I'm going to try to knock out the rear seat. Rear seat was really great. The foam was in perfect condition, and the seat cover, it was just blown apart on the side here, so I had my upholsterer leave everything and then just replace these side panels. It was super cheap. Anyway, because I'm frustrated with that front seat, I really want to see this one go together smoothly. So let's do it. All right, there we go. Rear seat done, beautiful. Just have to put it back in the car. That actually turned out all right. So I think figuring out the hog ring pliers took me a second, but once I had that down, it was just like pretty stoked. Time to get an electric carving knife. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, so I actually wound up taking the foam out of the back here. I just threw in some hard cardboard. Basically, I just want to distribute that load so that the foam doesn't keep cutting into the spring. This will just stop that, and hopefully it'll be good for like another decade. I don't know. Now we need to fix the bolster. I went and grabbed a Black & Decker turkey carver, so things should go hopefully a lot more smoothly now. So let's do it. Sarah, what do stitches get?
Stitches get stitches. Awesome. So look at that. Oh, it's a little line though. It's good here.
It is way better than it was. All right, while she's putting together the seat, I was vacuuming out the car to get it prepped for the rear seat, and I kept finding hair in it. And I don't know what the hair was from, but this is pretty interesting. I mean, this car was owned by an old lady, and it's been sitting here for a long time, but look at this.
I see it.
It's like
The world's oldest milk bone.
what happened to it? It's so bizarre. It looks like Swiss cheese.
Oh, it's funny.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yep.
Oh, it's all cement bugs and stuff.
Yeah, burrowed into by something.
Nasty. All right, well, I'm gonna clean this out.
That's a good idea.
All right, I'm excited. The interior is pretty much done. All the upholstery work is done. The seats look pretty great. The only thing that sucks is right here, but I'm gonna try to fix this with some fabric dye. Basically the velour is just wearing thin. And yeah, you could get all this replaced, but where do you stop, right? So, back seat looks amazing. Have the factory original Civic floor mats in here. It's looking pretty sweet. So let's take it for a drive. Turned out great. I'm stoked. Thanks for watching, you guys. Hopefully you learned something, and hopefully you decided that you too can tackle minor interior upholstery repairs, because it really wasn't that bad. So, cheers.